I'm Allendale's chief meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Midday weather doesn't look that dramatically different than what we saw earlier in the day. Got a frontal complex that's slowly working its way east and south. Warm front extends from a low in northern Wisconsin all the way down into central Indiana. Cool front comes out of that same low, goes back into north central parts of Nebraska before trailing off back up into the northern Rockies. Interestingly enough, we're not seeing much moisture at all here. Nice line of showers and even maybe a few rumbles of thunder in Wisconsin and now moving over parts of Lake Michigan. Other than that, it's just kind of scattered light stuff back in South Dakota, and I think it's going to continue to be this way as we go on through the next 12 to 24 hours. I'm looking for this front to likely be out of the eastern Corn Belt by tomorrow, right about this time, if not sooner. Rainfall totals, I'm going to leave them alone this time around. I still think 1/10 to 4/10 is what we're looking at, and coverage no better than about 40 to 50% of the Corn Belt. This is just not a big deal. Maybe it'll turn into one, but right now we don't think so. That means we should see an unabated harvest window for the most part continue. Yeah, you may have a delay or two in a spot here and there, but generally speaking, nothing for the entirety of the Corn Belt. We'll see slightly cooler air coming in immediately behind the front. We saw that today up in parts of the northern plains, but we'll see south winds take over and push back in as we head into the weekend. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for temperatures normal to above from this weekend right on through most of next week. With regard to our next round of precipitation, most of the Corn Belt we can say we're going to be dry all the way through Thursday, maybe even to early Friday. There is one little caveat. I see a system that looks like it mostly wants to move across Canada, Manitoba, Ontario, Hudson Bay, Quebec. But some models, especially the European model, are trying to drag a bit of that moisture down a front into the Great Lakes region Monday into Tuesday of next week. I think these solutions are probably a little too far south, but at the same time, I guess I won't completely discount it. If things were to happen, it looks mostly like it's going to be a eastern Wisconsin, Michigan kind of setup, but some models are bringing this moisture all the way down into northern Illinois, extreme northern Indiana. I want to see what the next couple of model runs say on that. I, again, think that's probably just too far south with a main body low that's all the way up near Hudson Bay and a front that mostly affects Canada, but we'll see. Otherwise, yeah, we're going to wait till late next week. A nice front for the 17th, 18th time frame. Looks like it has anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch of moisture, although I will be conservative and say most of us will be in the half-inch or less range. I like coverage 75%. Looks like it's a nice little front. Models are in agreement that there's a front in there. The only thing that they're a little squirrely on right now is timing. I've been talking about the 17th, 18th for a while. I'm not going to deviate from that thought process at this time. Behind that front, we've got dry air coming in, but something that you may hear a little bit more talk about as we go forward, a push of cooler air in around the 22nd, 23rd, 24th. It is real. Now, I do say that this is out on day 14, 15, and beyond on the long-range model, so there's plenty of time for this to change, but it's a fairly viable solution at this point. I think we see a nice below-normal push of temperatures. Question is, does it produce frost over a large part of the Corn Belt? I'm not sure it does, but if it does, is that a story? Well, I go back to what we said yesterday. No. As a matter of fact, over a large part of the Corn Belt now, we have pushed past our normal first frost dates, so we've extended the growing season. Cold air at this point shouldn't be a story for anything other than just the novelty of, hey, we're finally getting cooler. That's the way things are stacking up domestically. Internationally, scattered rain showers trying to work into Mato Grosso here this weekend. Anytime actually from later today right on through tomorrow and into Saturday. Looks like about 50% coverage, so that may help out with some soybean planting there. Otherwise dry for the rest of the period. Heavier rains, of course, continuing in that south and southeast Brazil area. A little bit of scattered moisture trying to show up in Australia on the extremes. Extreme east, north, or southeast Australia, New South Wales, Victoria, and then way out in extreme southwestern parts of Western Australia. The moisture is light. It's not impressive. It's probably not even worth mentioning, except it does seem to be signaling maybe a breakdown of that strong high-pressure dome off the southern coast pattern. And if the pattern can break down, maybe it'll lead to better rains here in the weeks ahead. We'll have to see. Right now, just scattered action. Let's not get too excited about it. And over in the Black Sea region, watch closely as a fairly strong push of moisture comes up across the Black Sea itself as we go through the coming forecast period here. I'm looking at these rains mostly trying to work their way up this weekend into early Monday. But I also think we may see this moisture stop just short of Ukraine. All it needs is a little bit better southerly push or south to north push, and it'll be there. But let's not get too excited just yet. And that's the way your forecast is stacking up. If you've got any questions on the weather, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.